Hey guys, um, I promised everybody that I was going to go ahead and produce a video that explain why I don't want specific age talk in my chat. I want to clarify first and foremost is I have nothing against anybody on a certain age. I accept everybody, all shapes, colors, sizes, whatever it is. The only reason why I don't, and it's nothing to do with age discrimination, absolutely not. It's because, whatever age you are, whatever it is you are, you come in, you're who you are. I just don't want the age to be talked because I really need to talk about a certain person that has really affected that kind of mentality for me. And it is this person that I have on my screen. His name is Garuda. Um, I've been waiting to really talk about it since um, it's kind of a really hard subject for me to talk about, and I think that once we get into it, it's going to be hard for a lot of people to listen to, or it's definitely going to be emotional for me to talk about because um, it's a tragic story that happened. So I am going to spill the tea on this person. So bear with me here. Um, I talk about bad people on the internet. I'm very much aware of them. I've been on the internet since like America Online and, since like 1995. And I mean, my email is still at cami316 at AOL.com. It is active. That's where I get all my emails from. That's my information for my business cards, everything. So that's still very active till this day. I've never left it. So yeah, my Camry 316 at AOL thing has existed since 99, but I've been on America Online since I was like, in high school as a teenager. But anyway, I've literally encountered very many sick people. And as a person who is an old geezer um, on Twitch these days compared to you guys, you youthful youngsters. Um, this is somebody I wasn't expecting. I'm completely still blown away. And you know what? Maybe I'm stupid. Maybe I wasn't expecting that, but I'm definitely blown away. Just because this person that I'm talking about, Garuda, um, we were around very closely. We worked closely with him. I was co-lead. I'm still a co-leader of a streaming community. It's a small exclusive community focused on internal support, and he was a part of it. So Dare to Stream is for streamers, and he was a part of it. A good friend of ours actually introduced us. We checked him out as far as what his content is about, and because the co-leader and my partner, Crazy Killer 1320, loves Destiny. He's all about Destiny. He was really enthusiastic, I'm sorry, about meeting Garuda, and the interaction was great. I think Garuda was like, on the stream, he was very charming, charismatic, he was kind, he was very energetic, and he was really positive. So these were the things, the qualities that we were looking for, for our communities to share our communities with, to be in his stream and vice versa. I like being around positive people, and that's the vibe that I got off of him, that I got off from him. Um, so after our friend, and I'm not going to mention certain names, I'm going to obviously mention the situations because it's unfortunately the way the way the cookie crumbles, the way the story goes. And it also affects them in very many ways. But a lot of people were affected by this, and including, like just so many lives were affected, and not on a positive note, definitely very negative. So when we met Garuda, he actually reached out to us and said, "Hey, I'm interested in joining Dare to Stream." So we go through. I told him, "Hey, there's a process. It's a really kind of like like a 3-step process we go through. We do an interview and we kind of give you a briefing just to let you know, hey, this is what we do here, and this is expected out of you, and here's what you're gonna expect from us. I want to make sure that we're a good fit for you as you are a good fit for us, but most importantly, if we are a good fit for you, because we see a rock star, right? And so he's like, oh, definitely. And we give each candidate enough time, like maybe a week or whatever, to think about, if we don't hear from them for like over a week or so, we would prefer to move on. And we just decided that we would decide, hey, you know what, whatever. Everybody's got a different, thing that they want to do. We're totally okay with it. It's no problem. We don't think there's any problems with that. So Garuda actually reached back out to us and said, hey, you know what? I'm ready for my interview. And his content was great. We do a content review, do all the past broadcasts to see, if you're just putting on an act or if you're actually really a good quality streamer, who you are today is what you were, yesterday and the day before, and producing not just entertainment, but also, good quality ones where, you're not bullying and you're not mean towards anybody. You're not saying like hurtful words, because I base our community and my community, especially the quesabays, the quesalupa bays. Quesalupa is the Taco Bell quesalupas, yes. It's been in existence. My community has been in existence for 3 years. So I base the environment, and in general, I think we all have a common ground with how we want our environments to be in the stream, and for everybody to go into the environment is safe, and that no one comes in and they get bullied or they are victims of any kind of discrimination, racial or religious. So there's no talks of politics, religious, yada yada yada. We don't allow that. And for me, like I said, no age talk, because like I said, a lot of bad people on the internet, like sexual predators, pedophiles, they target a certain age group, and they target a certain gender. And let's just keep it safe. Let's just be in general. Let's keep everybody safe. Because if I said, my age, because people are like, oh my God, like, how old are you? And I'm just like, I'm old. Oh, you can't be that old. Well, if I said, hey, by the way, I'm almost cougar status, right? I'm a couple years shy of cougar status. Oh, well, you don't look like that. Oh, you look like you're 22. Oh, well, I'm 15. Well, I'm 12 and I'm 9. You know what? Whether you're joking or not, I don't find that funny, because, and then someone is, oh, my kids are this age. And I'm like, oh my God. Like, it triggers me. Unfortunately, this particular situation triggers me to think like, oh shit. Someone like this is probably there, like, oh my God, like having the time of their life, like, oh, did I hear there's, an underage person, in there. And so that's why that's scary enough for me. And I hope that kind of brings awareness to you guys. I don't have any kids myself, but I think about it because I know a lot of you guys do. I know many people, family, and I have nieces and I have nephews, and I think about that all the time. I think about like, who's going to come after my son? Who's going to come after my daughter, when they're when they're born or when they're a little bit older and they have to deal with things like this. So, things come at you, and you can never be prepared, but you can at least be aware that there are people out there that will do something like this. So I'm not specifically saying that he would do this, that Garuda did this. I don't know if he did this. Okay, is specifically going into chats or streaming for that matter. Because I was thinking like, could he be streaming? Because it's a possibility now that he's just a bad person. Now that we know now this is what he did. Definitely I'm thinking like, it's a possibility that he could totally be that person that was streaming to be a sexual predator, to prey on a certain age group, a certain gender. And that's just what I thought about the whole thing. So anyway, going back to how we met, he approached us. He wanted to be a part of the team, and that is where the DTS title for his stream, his last stream, was, and it has 134 views, and I think it's because I've kind of brought some light into it, or other people have too, and people are wondering, well, what happened to you, fam? So I think he produces November. I'm sorry. This was like around November of 2017. So all this happened like mid to, into the fall of 2017. And he was streaming for a while, and he had like big giveaways. And I mean like big giveaways. So he also mentioned during our interview that he recently quit his job from Sony. So he left the job. He said, I want to pursue, a different adventure in my life. I want to pursue a full-time streaming gig. Now, I don't always recommend, and I don't encourage that you leave a job to stream full-time, because sometimes, when you're starting off, you're starting small, and you think it's going to be an overnight thing, it's going to be a 1-year thing, it's going to be a 2-year thing. Sometimes it may not. It depends on what you do and what you're streaming, and there's just so many things that go into it, and there are some that skyrocket. It's about networking. There's your dreams, and go catch your dreams, but also catching your dreams is work too. So I'm just blessed to have a partner like Crazy Killer, who is really, really, really supportive of what I do, and I'm forever thankful for that, and I'm so blessed. And I hope that if you guys find someone like that in your life, they're a keeper. So, and I said, hey, whatever it is you want to do. I'm not really judging on what he wants to do. Maybe he has savings or whatever, tons of money. I mean, he worked for Sony, for Christ's sake. So recently he did like big giveaways, like giveaways for PlayStation 4 Pros, and I think it was like 3 or 4 of them that he had planned to give out. So it was but the thing was, it was sub only. I'm sorry. I kind of cringe at sub only giveaways. I know, like, some people may not agree, but technically it's although you may think it's not totally against Twitch terms of service, it's not specific in there. They're very vague about it, but anything that is against the law, or anything, against the law by government standards, financially, whatever it is, they're not into. So they're not, they kind of made it short and sweet. We don't support anything that, if you're breaking the law or whatever it is. That's why if you go look at like the Monopoly game from McDonald's, no purchase necessary. You see a lot of things, no purchase necessary. So when you are actually asking people to sub to you to get a chance to win, because it's the same thing. It's a chance to win. No, that's why it's no purchase necessary, because we're paying into, we're like, you're asking people to pay you, and they may not even win. So what are they paying you for? It's kind of like shit, because you don't know if you're gonna win. You're probably not gonna win. You may win and you may not win. And I just don't do. I never ever do sub only giveaways. I have a thing where, hey, if we reach a certain goal, everybody gets to be in it. You know what I mean? You don't have to, pay into to be rewarded. Is what I'm trying to say. Is that everybody is eligible for that. So anyway, those were sub giveaways. I don't know how much money he made out of these poor people that don't know that you shouldn't be doing that. But so people sub to him, whether it was like tier 1 sub, I think. I don't know if you have to be a tier 3 or tier 2 sub, but at the time it's just shitty. I think it's shitty to do sub only giveaways, because you're asking people to pay you for, anyway, it's shitty. So he was doing like the PlayStation 4 Pro giveaways, and then what happened was there were people that I knew that I was friends with that actually won. And I think they were like all in the Texas area. So he's from Texas, and he apparently, whatever it is, I don't know, it seemed kind of rigged to me because they were like people that actually were not only a part of Dare to Stream, but were, people who frequent in chat from Dare to Stream. I don't know. I really don't want to jump into any conclusions. But anyway, it seemed like, one happened to be, we find out later, she was a girlfriend. The second one is one of the mods from Dare to Stream and has a nephew. And then one was, I guess a supporter of his or a friend, the guy that actually introduced us. So I think I'm going to be honest with you guys, he totally rigged it. I guess so. I mean, I don't know how, but that to me seemed kind of rigged. Where it's just everybody that he knew, and it wasn't somebody random that just happened to come and follow him. He had over like 11 at the time, I think like almost 11,000 followers, and I think he lost about 1,000 followers since 2017, including me. But anyway, he did this whole thing, and I guess there were a couple of people that didn't get their PlayStation 4s. Now, it could be one because it was an absolute scam, but I think there was one that did. He confirmed that he got it. It was the friend that introduced us together, and he confirmed that he did get one. The other two, the one with that she was going to give to her nephew, and one was, we find out later, they're not just good friends, but they're, it was hard to believe because he said he was gay, but I don't know, all the lies, I guess. When people are good at lying, I guess, they're good at manipulating. Now, after that happened, he like disappeared. Like we noticed that this video that he posted last, right? He was saying, I technically really haven't clicked on it. So it's November 12th, 2017 is when he did produce this. So...
Bravo team moving to check.
Well, there's an ad. We don't want the ad, but there's an ad.
Front lines are in our own backyard.
Because I'm not... Yeah, I know I'm watching a past broadcast.
Make a difference in your community, serving part-time in the Army National Guard.
So he's just like kind of sitting there, right? I don't know if he's like truly distressed or whatever it is, and maybe I should blow it up a little bit because I don't want the chat to show up or whatever. So I think he says something along the lines of he doesn't know what he's gonna do. Hello? Hello? So, hello?
And yes, the title is not a typo.
Oh, yeah?
Let's try to see if we can get some more people in here.
Saying goodbye to Twitch. So this is November 12th. I think he was arrested November 17th, I believe.
Buddy. Hello. Some things have come up, and I may not be able to financially sustain the channel anymore. So just want to let you guys know that the channel will be shutting down really, really soon. I just can't afford to do it right now. I'll have to come back at a later time. Oh, God, my back. Gotcha.
So, so that's what he was talking about, was like he wasn't able to keep
with the
up.
Title? What's going on, Buffs? What's going on, Abra? What's going on, guys?
Apparently.
Why is it hosting? Refresh, guys. I don't know why it's hosting.
But definitely he says he can't. I mean, it's not a lie that he wasn't able to keep up with anything anymore at this point, but I think there was so much more to it.
Just want to let everybody know that there is a good chance that I'll be shutting down the channel. Like I said before, financially, I can't afford to keep streaming.
Now, he was talking about something financially, obviously, when you're a full time streamer and you don't have anything to back it up. But he said he left Sony. But for me, I'm just like, why would you leave Sony? Like, that's a good job. And not only do you have a good job, I mean, you were getting like perks, like, PlayStation 4 Pros. Now, why do you want to leave that job? To pursue a full time streaming thing. Anybody knows, and who's a current streamer, that's hard. That's hard to, because you're not partnered. You're not, or at a place in streaming that you are able to keep up with everything financially. And from what I knew about him, I think he was like a single guy living, by himself. So I think that's when he did that giveaway. Was he tried to the sub only giveaways, right? That makes sense. He started to do the giveaways, so you would sub to him, he gets some money from the subs, and a couple months later, whatever it is, to be able to make something happen. However, so this video was produced November 12th. Now, there was a thing where he actually was what's it called? Sorry, I lost my train of thought. But I mean, he just disappeared off the face of the earth. So around Thanksgiving, actually, we never heard back from him. Nothing. I even messaged him. I even sent him a whisper on Twitch, and I said, "So I noticed that you follow me. So I have a program that tells me who unfollows. Not that I look at it now, but at the time, it doesn't really matter. Like, at the time, it's like, it just notifies you. So I was like, well, I noticed that, on this date, you unfollowed me. And I was thinking maybe that was just a mistake, because I don't want to jump into conclusions, right? There was nothing that transpired between the two of us that would have caused for him to unfollow me on Twitch. Because, yeah, it's really important when you unfollow and stuff. That's just, we're in this world, and this is just our world. You unfollow, we cry about it. So I was like, hey fam, what happened? And I never heard back from him. And that's just how it happened. So by around January, around the whole January thing, not January, I'm sorry. It was probably, that's my cat, Aries. Yeah. So around probably after the new year happened, we, one of our good friends, who was actually really, 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 really close to Garuda, who was at the time, I think, they had an agreement that she was just gonna say she was a really good friend, a best friend. Which is very believable because, once again, he told us he was gay. So that wasn't far-fetched, right? It wasn't a far reach for, and this girl is absolutely one of the sweetest people I've ever met. And please, 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 before anybody, I know you guys may have different opinions. I can't control that. But just please let me literally talk about how much of a sweet person. She's so sweet. You can't be mad at her for being naive. We all come from different walks of life. I'm a really sheltered person, and there are things that I don't know, jokes that I don't get, things that I've heard people say I still don't understand. Okay, and she's kind of the same way. I totally get where she's coming from. However, you can't actually keep kicking a person while they're down. She made her mistake. She understands it. She's like, I'm out of here. I'm done. And, finally, she finally saw what was really going on. And that is the most important part, is that there is awareness that at some point she did not go on, her entire life believing that this dude was actually not a monster. Yeah, I said it. He's a monster. But anyway, she reached out to us and was like, hey, can Dare to Stream help with I'm setting up another, a GoFundMe. I was like, he has a GoFundMe, right? and she was saying like, we need to do a GoFundMe because he has been he's been in jail since November. So for me here, let's go back to the PlayStation 4 Pros and stuff. And I'm sitting here in my head, I was like, because I said, let's think about this. Hold on. I said, hold on. Let's think about this first. So I said, hey, let's go ahead and let's think about this. Girl, let's think about this first. Let me and Crazy think about it, and we'll give you an answer. Because at the end of the day, when you're asking people for money to bail somebody out of jail, we're not about that. That is not a good way for us to encourage our community to be like, hey, please commit a crime, we'll bail you out. So, I mean, you don't go to jail. Later on, we'll find out. This is beyond that. This is like, let's not read into like, falsely being accused of something. This is if you went to jail, right? Usually you get arrested because you did something wrong, you stole or whatever it is. We're just kind of looking at it in a black and white situation. So we're going to be like, hey, we'll leave it at that. Give us some time. So, and I'm thinking in my head, that fool probably, got fired from Sony because he stole PlayStation 4 Pros and he went to jail for it. I was like, and I told Crazy, I'm like, bro, I'm not bailing him out for that. And not only that, there's some people that have these, like, he gave them away. There was, I think, 3 to 4, but I think at the time there was 3 to 4 giveaways, and all these people supposedly, and maybe they have stolen product and whatnot, which is unfortunate because that's not their fault. So I was on my phone. We were eating. It was like 2-3 o'clock in the morning or whatever, and I was sitting here like looking through my phone, and I put in his full name, and the location that he's at, which is, by the way, a part of his Twitter anyway. So I'm not sitting here like stalking him. So and he gave us information for his GoFundMe, his original GoFundMe, and me sitting here like all like, this fool got arrested for stealing PlayStation 4s, man. And what happened was, when I saw the first thing, and I was like, I couldn't believe it. There's no way that is him. And I don't believe it for 1 second. It was a lot worse than I ever could possibly imagine. I wish it was just him getting arrested for PlayStation 4s. I'm getting a little bit emotional because there's a lot of information when you see, I'm very affected by when, children are hurt, or anybody that's hurt. But I mean, I think children and elderly. I think that, when you are so cruel, to be so heartless to hurt children, I don't think you deserve to be in this world. You are a fucking asshole. And I literally stopped laughing because I saw, there's a couple of websites, and I'm going to pull them up for you guys. And I'm just simply here. Like I said, I'm just simply here to give you guys and spill the tea on what's true. I'm not here to talk smack about him. Although I have every right to, which I will, because that's messed up. I'm sorry, guys. That's really messed up. And this isn't a mistake. I talked to my best friend Kate today, and we were discussing about like, bro, this isn't a mistake. You didn't steal something and you learned your lesson. You did this multiple times, and you like literally ruined people's lives, right? You ruined lives, you affected many people, and I mean when you hurt a child that way, it's it's not just child abuse, but it's sexual, it's sexual abuse. That ruins that kid's life, that ruins the parents, that ruins so many, and the way we are all affected by this. And everybody, I'm sure, from his community are super affected by it. I tweeted about it because I said, hey, I want you all to know that this sicko has nothing to do with Dare to Stream. Okay, we are not friends. We are not cool. No one in this group is cool with him. So, there's we're not cool, not at all. So obviously he can't from jail take off all these tags, and he's still tagged with the DTS brackets and on Twitter, and also here, as you guys can see, that's his title, and that's going to be his remaining title for all days to come. I don't know. I don't really know. I've thought about reporting the channel, but I think any evidence, because I think there was some videos of like an 8-year-old like nephew that he had, and that is part of that footage. But anyway, all these things that we were finding out. So I'm actually gonna go into it. So this was the very first. Well, this is actually the first one that I saw. So obviously it was composed on December 13th of 2017, and basically the indictment charges with 4 counts of producing child pornography and 1 count of possessing prepubescent child pornography. So it alleges on the occasion in 2013. So not only did he do it in 2017, he did it in 2013 and 3 separate occasions in 2017. He induced 3 different prepubescent minors to engage in sexually explicit conduct while he recorded it. So you're a bad person, fam. Like, you're just a terrible fucking person. Why? Because none of it is right. And I've explained this to, other people who be like, well, you don't know that. Don't know what? There is, evidence. So let's go back to, let's go ahead and go on back to the situation with that whole situation where we find this out. So I was like, I tell my friend the next day, we tell our, she's one of our members, and, like I said, please understand where she was coming from. She got totally manipulated. And I think that's what I mean. He's not a good person. He was a manipulator. And he convinced her that, and when I said, you need to spill the beans, spill the tea, honey. We need you to spill the tea. Because I'm not collecting money from everybody. And I have, and we all, and we all know that, like, a lot of times people who have good hearts will donate. And I'm not going to do this to get somebody out of jail for what? And I didn't tell her that I knew. I didn't tell her that I saw all of this on the websites. And I said, so tell me what's going on. Why is he in jail? So she finally spills the tea and was like, well, the FBI came to his house because he's being framed by a family member. A family member called on him, regarding some, content, possibly videos, that is possibly in the hard drive that he had in his PC. So she said that he should, like, they're falsely accusing him that they didn't read his Miranda rights to him, and they just basically burst into the FBI burst into the house, confiscated like his PC, his hard drive, and arrested him. So he's been sitting in jail since then. So I said, what was he accused of? And I just want her to be honest. And I'm glad that she actually said, hey, they're accusing him of, child abuse, like sexual abuse and stuff like that, and pedophilia and yada, yada, yada. I'm like, well, can I let you in on something? It's on the internet. So, and that's what I'm saying is I'm not making this up. This is public record. It is there. And you guys can do more research of it if you want to. You can, I guess I can provide some links down there. And I don't know if I'm going to get backlash for this, but I have every right to say this because you know what? I don't want people like you in my community. And there could be people like you that's just being silent about it. And that's what I mean is we all got to be careful. We all got to look out for each other. And this is the only way I can try to protect. Please help me, like, protect you guys the best way that I possibly can. And that's bringing awareness. And no, I'm not powerful enough to do so much I'm not powerful enough to prevent something like this from happening again to somebody that I care about, or like, if you guys have somebody that you care about, we can't always prevent it, but we can try. And it doesn't hurt to try. I'm sorry. It doesn't hurt to try. When I read the affidavit, and you guys can actually see the affidavit, I don't want to go into it. It's very hard for me to read. But the indictment charges is in this link right here. I'm sorry. It is this one right here. I will provide the link. It is down here, and that's the indictment. And it's, the topic is Project Safe Childhood, for crying out loud. So anyway, the reason why I knew all this is because I knew his age, where he was from, his full name and whatnot. So yeah, he's entitled to presumption of innocence until, unless proven guilty if convicted. But it was, the case was brought as part of the Project Safe Childhood right here. And, the investigations, obviously being, is happening, but right here, the federal grand jury indicts, him for all those charges. But it is down here. It is downloadable, free to read. You got to have a pretty strong stomach for that. I couldn't believe it. We found so much more. We found that indictment the next day, after my conversation with that friend. And so I said, I'm sorry, but this looks really bad on you. I was very honest. This looks really bad on you, and we can't help you with this, and you should get out of this as soon as you possibly can. It doesn't make you look good. You're trying to help get a monster out of jail that hurt children. And and like I said, I just, it looks really bad on you. And I offer advice. I was never unkind, but I was always honest. And at some point, obviously, she let him go, but he manipulated her into giving him money. So this is a guy who claims he's gay, manipulates a straight girl into dating him, and she gives him money. And also she disclosed something that was really creepy, and this is what I mean, is maybe he's full of lies. Maybe he's saying he's gay, but I don't know. Maybe he's bi, I don't know. But he said he was straight gay. Or, sorry, that doesn't make any sense. He's just gay. And there were things that were coming out later on when I was starting to come out with it on Twitter, and I was saying, like, when all this stuff is, I just don't give a fuck anymore. When all this stuff was happening, and what was he gonna do? Tell him not to talk shit about him, behind bars, and that he wants to have a quiet, normal life when he gets the fuck out of jail at some point, be a, registered sex offender? No, I'm sorry, but I can't. I can never, ever be the same person that I was that believed in you. And none of these people, and none of the people that he hurt, could ever live their lives the same way again. So no, you don't have no right to live the same way. Are you kidding me? Now I'm paranoid. Now I'm trying to make sure no one talks about age because, I don't know, you existed, Garuda. So I'm pretty sure there's more like you out there. So I'm doing the best I can. And like I said, please, I hope that you guys understand where I'm coming from, and also support my decisions and what I do. And that, the same way, you should never talk about your kids' ages too if you do have kids, because of people like that. They will come and they will stalk you. Now, he was into, apparently the boys that he did abuse were ranging from the age of 8 to 12. And he did this from 2013 and did more in 2017. So he's always been a sicko. Anyway, I whatever he did was just absolutely wrong. Everything. So at the time you were confused, right? But let me clear this the fuck up for you. You're a bad he's a bad person because, number one, right? So hey, he just owned it, right? He was watching it. No, you're a bad person because you own child pornography, or you're watching it. What is the matter with you? What is so enticing about that. So you're there's something wrong. You're a bad person because you are watching that. Secondly, if you're filming it and you're filming it while other people that you're filming is, doing that to another, you're a bad person. You're a terrible person. You're a monster because you're letting, other people hurt, these children. And then you're even worse of a person because you're filming it and you're part of it. So nothing about that is good. Nothing. He's just a terrible person. And like I said, the family member that raised flags for him to be caught. I'm not saying that I'm jumping into conclusions that she could be the parent of this child that's a family member, which, like I said, he hangs out with an 8-year-old nephew. And this is the only time I'll ever talk about the age, just because we gotta be, I gotta inform you on what's true. I don't know, and it's my fucking opinion, and from what I'm thinking, I need to get it out of my head, and share with you guys because I need to just, hey guys, if you get purged for talking about age in chat, here's the video for you. Anyway, I believe he's still in jail. I've tried to follow the story and nothing really has come out of it. I've not heard anything recent about where his whereabouts are, if he's still in jail. I'm hoping if you guys could actually provide some information, if you can help me out a little bit, where we can find out if he is in fact still in jail. I don't encourage, and I will never encourage, harassment of other people. Please do not harass his family. Please do not do anything like that, because at the end of the day, they shouldn't be paying the price for what he's done. Although you have to understand that his family is definitely going to try to get him out of jail. I think that's just, that's just how some people are. Like mothers and grandmothers, especially mothers, they don't want to believe they raised a monster, because that kind of makes you feel like, did I do this? What did I do wrong to, raise my child this way? But shame on you, Garuda. For real, shame on you for making your mom feel like a failure by raising a monster who sat there and sexually abused and hurt little boys. And another thing too is, if these boys were possibly confused with their gender, not their gender, I'm like their sexual orientation, that is a really bad way to introduce that to them. Be like, hey, that's so traumatizing and such an awful thing to do to them. At 8 years old, you don't even, I can't even. But like I said, it's just such a bad way to manipulate them into thinking that they're gay, or to manipulate them into thinking like, hey, you don't have a choice. This is what you're going to be. Like, they didn't even know. Am I this way? They don't have the ability, the power, the authority, or that they don't feel as kids like that. They don't feel like they could say no. And the fact that you took advantage of that, Garuda, I think that is horrific. And you are not the person that we all believed you to be. Like, all of this coming out, and, I really, truly wish that you just stole the stupid PlayStation 4s, and, you're not going to be defined by your mistakes. I always believe that you should never be defined by your mistakes, but this isn't a mistake. You did it multiple times, and this isn't a mistake. This is a choice that you made selfishly, and just being an evil person. You did it for all of those reasons, just to be evil and to just be a sick individual. So I'm sorry, not sorry, that it took me a while to actually get all of this out, because I needed to kind of have a different mindset, where at the time I feared maybe backlash of getting you know, a lawyer, like an attorney involved and stuff like that, like with, you know, if he was to whatever. I'm not afraid of that. I'm just here to, and that's my disclaimers. I'm here to share my experience, and it's like somebody's, you know, like it's like a ghost story, right? Like, you know, people share their paranormal stories. Is it real? Is it not? I don't know, but I have proof that you're a bad person. So I'm just reporting on what you've done and what's out there, and I'm just pulling up what the facts are, and why I want to like really say you are not part of their stream. Their stream is not even the way we work and the way we are as a great community. You will not taint it. You don't have the power to taint it. That's why we are. I just want to say we would never ever support you again. You lost our support that exact moment. You know, and I'm just, you know, and all the good people that actually believed in you, Garuda, shame on you for making them believe in who you're really not. Like, you're an entire fraud. Like, I thought you were a cool, nice guy with amazing positive vibes, and it was such a refreshing thing. Now I just want to fucking vomit. Like, ugh. Like, I really, really want to vomit. Like, you know, it's just, like I said, it's really, 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 truly unfortunate what happened with this whole thing. So before I turn this all off, I truly just want to, I truly, truly, truly just want everyone to join me into just thinking about the families that were affected by this. It's definitely going to change their lives. Those kids, those boys, their lives have already changed. They're going to be affected, and it's a lifelong thing. And I know, and you know what? Many of us, and you know, many of us have been sexually abused. Many of us have gone through, you know, certain situations in our lives where we've been molested, where we've been we've been sexually assaulted, we've been, you know, and we need to be the voice of those who are afraid to speak, who don't want to speak. And in this situation, their stories need to be told, because no one ever deserves to be hurt. And especially, you know, young people who are just starting their life. They don't even know, like, as an 8-year-old, you don't even know what it's like to have a girlfriend or to have a boyfriend, whatever it is. You're not even focused on that. You're focused on playing Fortnite. You're focused on Minecraft. And that's not going to be for them anymore, you know? And I feel so sad that he's not the only one that does this. So let's be the voice. And I want to do it. And I did this because I wanted to be their voice and to let them know that they're heard and that I want to help them, and that I want them to know that I want to make sure that I'm someone that would like to prevent that from happening to other people, to other people that are, you know, going to be hurt. Also, Garuda, going back to my friend who said that there was another situation with her where she finally came out with all the, you know, creepy stories while he was sending her letters from jail and stuff like that. He admitted to actually wanting to show up because she does like plays and stuff like that. She's great. And that he was going to surprise her one night and he was just going to be at the audience. In the audience, you know, that's not a good surprise, you know, and she said, imagine what he could have done to me because somebody else came forward and it was another female. Like I said, I don't know her name and she didn't disclose any information, but just that this other female, he actually sexually assaulted her as well. And I don't know any details if she came forward to the police, she told anybody else, but she reached out to this girl to warn her. And I'm glad that that my good friend didn't get hurt, as far as him showing up in the most awful time. Thank God, because that's one less person hurt. It doesn't make it any better, but it prevented one less person. And I'm glad he's rotting in there, supposedly, from the last time we talked about him. And that she's moved on, she's had a better life, and she's doing things to also raise awareness of what happened. And, she felt like she made some pretty bad decisions to support him or whatever it was. And I don't think anybody should be condemned for that. And she made a mistake. That's a mistake. That's reversible. What he did was not a mistake, because mistakes are reversible. It can be, you can make up for it. You can't make up for this. So guys, that's why I don't want age talk in my chat, because of bad people like this. And like I said, I'm going to provide all the links, and if you guys have any comments or whatever. And I'm prepared for a backlash over it. And, maybe one of his families is going to, reach out to me. I don't know. But at the end of the day, I don't give a fuck. I have the right to say what I want, and you can't defend someone who did this. I didn't do anything. Facts are there. And not only that, if you want to come back at me, if some family member wants to come back at me, I was asked to raise money for a pedophile in jail, okay? No thank you. So please, I have the right to say my opinion about it, and many, many reasons why. And I'm finding out all these details. So, guys, I really appreciate you listening to me, for the length of this, for longevity of this video. And, guys, I encourage you, be the voice. Be the voice. Be aware. Raise awareness. Because I never in my entire life ever thought that the Twitch platform I could be in contact with someone so close to be that way. I've met many amazing people. Like I said, I've met many, many amazing people. He was definitely the worst one I've ever met. I've met some assholes, but he's like the top tier, like disgusting, sick fuck. So, and I really, truly hope that he spends the rest of his life in jail. Or if anything, that if he goes, he just has to be aware that when he gets out, he has to be a registered sex offender. And not only that, his life will, I just hope he rots. His life should never, ever be the same again, because nobody else's life is. Not mine. Sure, I wasn't the one that got hurt. But knowing that he did that he could possibly do that to someone from my community. Or, just think about it that way. As a streamer, you're an influencer, and your responsibility is to basically create an environment, for your community to come to. And certainly I will always live by that. I always stand by that. That my community, as much as possible, they know how I am. They know how hard I try to keep them safe from all things that are bad. So, thank you guys again. I welcome all comments down below. And we can totally have a discussion about it and whatnot. And so I will see you guys later. Thank you again for letting me share this with you. And I appreciate you guys letting me make you aware. And just letting yourself be aware.